Now at 10, Ascension Hospital System opens an investigation into a possible cyber attack. Plus, some clients from the Lafayette House in Joplin get an upgrade to their wardrobes. And graduating seniors at Carthage High School take a walk down memory lane.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Ascension Hospital System today announced it's investigating a possible cyber attack. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Ascension, which owns Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh, says it detected unusual activity in its network systems yesterday. They say access to some systems, including clinical operations, have been interrupted. So far, they are not aware of any patient information being compromised. It's not clear if the Pittsburgh facility is affected. Let's check in with Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures now dropping down to the lower 60s. We're going to continue to drop down to the mid to upper 50s for our low tonight. And winds are calm out there. It's pretty clear as well. Temperatures across the region already starting to get down to the 50s. 59 out in Parsons, 60 in Pittsburgh, 67 still in Cassville. So we are still warm in some areas, but we don't have any rain going on. This is all ground clutter. It happens sometimes later on at night, but we also have a flood warning still effect north of Nevada for some of those rivers. That'll continue until Wednesday. So we don't have any rain. We had some storms and showers just south of us, but those have started to clear out, and we don't see any rain moving until Sunday evening. We'll talk more about that in just a bit.
Some Southwest Missouri residents have to deal with a mess left by the tornado that struck yesterday afternoon. In one neighborhood just outside of Monette, siding and roofing was torn off homes. A barn was destroyed. Fire crews and Liberty Utilities worked through the night last night to clear roads and restore power. The residents spent today cleaning up storm debris.
Me and my neighbors, they've got farm tractors, and I've got backhoes, and we've got the equipment to do most of it ourselves, and we work together, and that's what brings us out of it, and that way it's not real hard on anybody.
No injuries were reported. In fact, one resident says their chicken coop was destroyed, but all the chickens are safe. After months of dealing with a water shortage, the city of Caney, Kansas officially lifted its restrictions this week, finally. Because of the recent rains, Caney's water reservoirs are full, allowing officials to take down the resolution for water conservation. KOAM's Fernandez Silva has more.
In October and November, when we really started counting the days of how much water we had left, it got a little burdensome for people.
But with the recent rains came comfort.
The whole community, I mean, there's a sigh of relief that, hey, now we are going to come out of the drought.
While most restrictions were lifted for the community and local businesses back in December, now people will see the signs of ease.
They can water their gardens, they can water their grass, they can water their trees. Those were the things that, we were still kind of somewhat iffy about, just water use and overuse. Well, now it's use however much you want to pay for.
But this was not their reality just a couple of months ago. Last summer, the water shortage in the city was considered the most critical level of the severity scale. As a result, residents could only use water for essential activities.
The most restricted thing that we were doing that we're not anymore essentially has to do with the use of outdoor restrooms and things of that nature.
The school district that went to a 4-day week schedule last semester to try to reduce the water usage says life is now back to normal. But the impacts of the restrictions are here to stay.
The water restrictions has forced us all to think about things that we can do to conserve. So whether that be simple things like at home that you can do when you're brushing your teeth or limiting your shower usage or things of that nature where you're very conscious of that.
It's hard to feel like you have permission to go ahead and use a lot of water after you've come through that still sticks in your mind.
The hope now is for better days ahead.
Now everybody's relieved to go in the summer with their gardens and their flower beds.
In Caney, Fernandez Silva, KOAM News.
The city's now working to avoid the recurring problem in the future. The goal is to connect a pipeline from Coffeyville to Caney's water system. The project is expected to cost almost $8 million and be done by the end of 2025. The Heart of Cabby Foundation's Love Local event is updating the wardrobes of 40 clients from the Lafayette House in Joplin. The Lafayette House assists local victims of domestic abuse, and this donation provides more than 400 items of clothing for clients to choose from free of charge.
All of the items that the ladies will be taking home with them today are all from the Cabby line. And so they're getting paired with a Cabby stylist to get a brand new wardrobe of items that they're able to wear to court or a job interview or just out in their daily lives, so they feel good about the items that are in their closet.
This is the second time the Love Local event has been held in Joplin. LifeWork Talent Consulting hosted their Women's Forum today at the Cornell Complex in Joplin. The forum's an event where women can learn about leadership development. Organizers say it's designed to challenge, inspire, and grow influential female leaders in the civic, business, and nonprofit arenas.
We have had a dream for a long time. We've been to so many women's events and so many great kind of nuggets from each one we picked up. And because in our business we work with women leaders so often, and we ourselves are women leaders, we know there are unique challenges that they face, things they really want to talk to their peers about, but don't really get an opportunity to because they're so busy with their jobs.
That forum included 60 female leaders from organizations all across the region, including Kansas City and Northwest Arkansas, and points in between. Carthage High School seniors got to take a trip back in time today. The seniors unearthed a time capsule they put in the ground back when they attended Mark Twain as kindergartners. The graduating class also took part in the annual Walk the Halls through Mark Twain Elementary, where they got some serious high fives from the current kindergarten class. The occasion provided some perspective for one senior.
Like, you don't really believe it, but then when you're here going through elementary school, you're like, it really does. And it's just sad because you came in here when you're a little kindergarten and you're like, these halls are insanely huge, and then you come back and you're like, these aren't that big, I've just grown up.
Yeah, change of perspective for sure. The seniors were reunited with the special items they placed in the time capsule way back when they were kindergarten students. The defense in the hush money trial of Donald Trump clashes with a key witness. That's coming up. Plus, authorities respond to a crash between a school bus and a semi-truck in Lawrence County, Missouri. Adult film star Stormy Daniels gave more combative testimony on the witness stand in former President Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York. We have the latest now from reporter Michael George.
The judge in the hush money trial of former President Donald Trump has denied the defense team's latest request for a mistrial. Manhattan criminal court judge Juan Merchan also rejected efforts to have the gag order against Trump modified. The order prevents Trump from speaking out about witnesses, but not about the judge, who Trump lashed out at again after court on Thursday.
He's a corrupt judge and he's totally conflicted. And I got to get back on the campaign trail. I'm not supposed to be here. We are so innocent. There's never been anything like it.
Testimony from Stormy Daniels, a key witness for the prosecution, wrapped up. Daniels gave more details about her alleged sexual encounter with Trump. The adult film star testified she felt shock and surprise when she came back to the Lake Tahoe hotel room in 2006 and saw Trump on the bed. She called it a power shift because she earlier felt she had control of the situation. The former president's lawyers repeatedly accused her of fabricating the story. "You're making this up, right?" said one defense lawyer, to which Daniels replied, "No."
Some jurors may have had sympathy for Stormy Daniels, and some jurors may have had contempt for her.
Daniels repeatedly denied being motivated by money, and when Trump defense attorney Susan Necklace pointed out that she was selling merchandise related to Trump's indictments online, Daniels replied, "Not unlike Mr. Trump." Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The presumptive Republican presidential nominee is accused of falsifying business records in connection with payments to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen. Prosecutors say Cohen was given $130,000 to buy Daniels' silence ahead of the 2016 election. Trump's lawyers argue the money was to cover Cohen's legal fees. A Northeast Oklahoma woman pleads guilty in a fatal hit and run case. That crash happened in February of 2022 in Miami, Oklahoma. Minnie McBrien of Fairland, Oklahoma, drove a vehicle that hit and killed Kang Jin Lee, a citizen of China who lived in Miami. McBrien entered a blind plea, meaning the sentence has not been determined. She's due back in court in August. No one is seriously hurt after a semi-truck crashed into the back of a school bus today in Lawrence County, Missouri. That crash happened on Missouri 96 about 7 a.m. The bus slowed to make a left turn and the semi moved to pass on the right, but instead struck the bus. The impact spun the bus and slammed it into a rock bluff. Troopers say 2 children and a driver were on the bus at the time, and firefighters helped remove the semi-driver who was trapped in the cab. But again, no one was injured. U.S. lawmakers introduced a bill aiming to limit the amount of heavy metals found in baby food. It would be accomplished through stronger regulation and enforcement by the FDA. Multiple reports in recent years have detailed concerning levels of the contaminants in foods made for babies and toddlers. The bill would direct the agency to develop maximum allowable limits for toxic heavy metals found in baby food more broadly. It would also set standards for testing of the final food products. When breastfeeding mothers use cannabis, turns out THC shows up in the breast milk. A study by Washington State University found the amount of THC in milk is low, but it's unclear what health effects that could have on a baby. The study authors say breastfeeding mothers need to know if they use cannabis, their babies are likely consuming the compounds in breast milk. A little later, a nice spring day turns out to be perfect for a chill Thursday bike ride in Joplin.
And we'll talk more about the severe weather we've got coming up next week, right after the break.
This is
Well, we're finally seeing a break in the severe weather pattern. Luckily, that continues through Mother's Day, but unfortunately, we do see some more rain kick back up next week. But let's enjoy the nice weather while we can. Taking a look at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Clear skies out there and temperatures only dropping down to the upper to mid 50s today. So we're pretty much average, and we've been average for most of the spring season. Our high today got up to 77 and our low was as low as 50 degrees. So we're warmer than that tonight, but we only stay in the mid to upper 70s for the next several days while we've got this nicer air moving over us. We don't have any rain going on. We did have a few showers and thunderstorms just south of us, but it went through Arkansas, and so we didn't see anything, and we won't see anything until Sunday. Lucky for us, unfortunately, we did have some severe weather, but the lucky part is that we got a lot of rainfall, and it's improved our drought conditions quite a bit. Most of the area in our northern counties completely out of a drought, but if you're right along that Kansas-Oklahoma border or southwest Missouri, still in a dry to moderate drought, but that's still better than what it was out in Montgomery County. They were in a severe drought. So with all the rainfall that we've gotten, unfortunately we have had severe threats with the rainfall, but with all the rainfall we've gotten, we've improved our drought conditions tremendously. Now tomorrow we're going to be sunny. It's going to be really nice out there. We're only getting up to the mid to lower 70s, so it'll be cooler temperatures, nice day, and we can thank this ridge that formed over our area. So I've mentioned it before, ridge is a tall column of high pressure air. That high pressure brings sinking air into our area. So the sinking air is calming. We don't see any severe threats with sinking air. We only see that with rising air, which is associated with a low pressure system. So while this ridge is over our area, we have those nicer days. Now it's staying over our area for a few days longer than what it normally would because we have a cutoff low, which that's a low pressure system, still out in the west. And if it's cut off, it's not going to be moving. It has to rejoin with the upper level flow before it can start to move again. So this is Saturday at noon. We still have that ridge over our area and still a cutoff low out in the west. And then we start to see after midnight on Sunday, it joined back up with the rest of the flow, and then it'll start to move into our area. Once that happens, we're going to get the rain moving in late Sunday night, but luckily for most of the day Sunday, for Mother's Day, it's going to be pretty nice outside. We do see some clouds starting to push in the afternoon hours, but the rain seems to be holding off until the evening, so not until about 9 p.m. And then we'll have shower chances Sunday night, thunderstorm chances for the rest of the week. So let's take a look at what you can expect for the next 10 days or so. Mother's Day on Sunday. Until then, it's going to be really nice outside, sunny skies, and nice temperatures in the 70s. Then those storms start to kick up, and we do see temperatures warming up to the 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the storms finally clear out. We'll have another nice weekend next weekend.
At least several consecutive days without rain. That'll be welcome.
That is definitely welcome. I know we've only had like a day in between some severe weather the last couple of weeks, so this is nice. For sure. Lindsay, thanks.
Some Joplin residents put rubber to road for a chill Thursday bike ride. Bearded Lady Roasters hosted the 5-mile journey, taking advantage of the calm weather. Participants could get some coffee before biking with friends or making some new ones.
My hope is just that you take away a friend, that you get to meet somebody, get to hang out, get to learn something about either bicycling, the culture, Joplin, get to learn a new favorite street. Yeah, I hope the takeaway is just some more friends.
That bike ride went from Bearded Lady to Chaos Brewing Company. Still ahead, Pitt State softball opens up NCAA tournament play at home, and Missouri Southern and Pitt State baseball square off in the MIAA tournament. John Dales has highlights from both of those games and more coming up next.
The NCAA Tournament Central Regional begins this afternoon in Pittsburgh. The PSU softball complex is the host for the next 3 days, and the Gorillas begin tournament play at 2 o'clock this afternoon against Southern Arkansas. First game of the NCAA Central Region, top seed Pitt State at home against Southern Arkansas. Bottom of the third inning, no score. Heather Arnett picks up the first hit of the day for the Gorillas, and she hustles into second. Later in the inning, Paxton Hayes rips a liner into right field. Run comes home. PSU scores 3 in the third inning, jumps out to a 3-0 lead. Top of the sixth, it's now 3-2, 2 outs, and an error over at second base will bring in another run for the Mule Riders. They tie it at 3. We stay tied to the bottom of the seventh when Arnett is up again. She chops one high back to the pitcher. She's safe at first. That represents the winning run. Next batter, Hannah Burnett. She lays down a bunt. She's going to be safe at first too. Runners on second and first, nobody out. That's when Paxton Hayes comes up to the plate. She sends it back up the middle and through. Arnett is going to score standing up. That ends it. Final score, 4-3. The Gorillas begin NCAA tournament play with a walk-off win. Right next door at Al Ortolani Field, Missouri Southern baseball faces rival Pittsburgh State in the MIAA tournament semifinals. Both starting pitchers cruising early on. Tanner Leslie throws the hitter's timing off to get the strikeout. Then on the hills for Southern, it's Cole Gaiman who answers with the strikeout of his own. We go scoreless into the third. That's when Will Doherty hits this ball into the gap in right center field. Josh Holmes lays out but can't make the catch. That allows 2 runners to come in to score. Doherty gets all the way to third with a triple. Lions up 2-0. Now to the fifth, Drew Townsend sends this laser over the wall and right, gone for a home run. That's the first run of a 5-run frame for the Lions. Now to the seventh, Lions up 9-1. Drew Townsend this time makes the catch on the warning track. Cole Gaiman stares down the Pitt State dugout after he pitches 7 innings, only giving up 1 run. Missouri Southern goes on to win this one 9-5. Lions play Washburn tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Crowder baseball starts its postseason journey tonight as well. Rough Riders face State Fair in the opening round of the Region 16 tournament. They erase a 4-run deficit and win it 10-6, the final score. Rough Riders will play St. Louis Community College in the next round. That's tomorrow at 3. And the NBA playoffs continue tonight in Oklahoma City. The Thunder host the Mavericks in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals, fresh off a 22-point win in Game 1 on Tuesday. Now, Game 2 been much closer, much more of a challenge for the Thunder. We're at the halfway point in the third quarter. Game's tied 77 apiece. It took until 3 minutes into the second half for the Thunder to get their first lead of the game. So we've been kind of saying, where's this challenge been for the Thunder? They're in the playoffs. This has been the challenge so far.
They just do not have had a challenge.
Yeah, that's right.
They still can pull this one out. We'll be right back.
This place.
Look at this. A farm in Missouri that breeds Budweiser Clydesdales has welcomed 15 new foals this year, some really cute ones. Warm Springs Ranch in Boonville is home to more than 70 Clydesdales. The ranch says the public's first opportunity to see the foals will be at an event this weekend. When Clydesdales are born, they're about 3 feet tall, weigh about 150 pounds. As adults, they're usually about 6 feet tall and weigh around 2,000 pounds. They eat up to 20 quarts of grain, 50 pounds of hay, and drink up to 35 gallons of water every day. So you think your baby is a handful? Try one of these things, some cute things. It's going to be some nice weather to get out and maybe see some Clydesdales or do whatever you want for the next few days.
Yes, it is. We've got a nice stretch of sunny skies all the way until Mother's Day. Luckily, that rain holds off until late in the evening, around 9-10 p.m. So most of the day you can spend outside with your mom.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Final sports note.
Nice weather for softball tomorrow at Pittsburg State as well. The Gorillas face Augustana in the next round of the NCAA tournament, who hasn't lost a game in 29 tries.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll see if that streak ends tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show begins at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great evening.